Vale, pues. Queda poco menos de un minuto. He quitado la música. Hay que ponerse serios. Y voy a subir un pelín el volumen para que se escuche al 13 quizás. Sí, bueno, yo luego ya veré. ¿Qué van a enseñar? No se sabe, no han dicho nada. Es todo una sorpresa. Supongo que gameplay, un poco más de gameplay. Tráiler no lo creo, porque ya hubo uno hace unas semanas, en el primer capítulo del Night City Wire. Gameplay y no sé, igual alguna colaboración más. No creo que anuncien otro anime ni nada así, pero yo que sé, igual... Yo qué sé, otro actor famoso. Música de alguien famoso. Es que no lo sé. Sinceramente no sé qué esperar. Lo veremos en 2 segundos. Casi ganó 2 oros. Bueno, si no fuera por el internet. Venga, va.
Hello and welcome to episode 2 of Night City Wire. This is the show from us at CD Projekt Red, where we talk about all things Cyberpunk 2077. In today's episode, we're going to be deep diving into Life Pass and showing you a brand new gameplay video, as well as having a chat to Philip from our Quest team.
Vale.
Then we're going behind the scenes and taking a look at how Refused are bringing the band Samurai to life.
Vale.
And then we're showing you another new gameplay video and having a chat to Pavel, our senior gameplay designer, about just some of the tools of destruction that will be at your disposal in Night City.
Vale.
So let's get started.
Ok.
Street Kid, Nomad or Corpo.
Pues nos van a presentar las 3 ramas. Un poco de gameplay. Luego, un behind the scenes sobre lo de la música. Esto es el backstory, ¿eh? La historia de origen. Y luego un gameplay exclusivo con algunas herramientas nuevas. Pues del que se cría en la calle, digamos. Todo lo contrario a los amigos de las empresas. Yo lo tengo comprado ya, ¿eh? Desde que se podía comprar, lo tengo comprado.
Got everybody fighting for a slice of the street. Get the fuck out of Vista. If it keeps getting jumped, you find some stronger choosers.
Do you want to spend the rest of your days blasting scabs? Or become a legend overnight?
We have arrived. The Major. Ready to get your cherry popped? Yeah, come on.
Tenía todo el cuerpo como metálico, ¿no? Los Nomad, si no tengo malentendido, son los que viven fuera de la ciudad, aquí en el desierto.
First kiss in the middle of a synth cornfield.
We nomads choose who to make our family.
Ojo con estos, ¿eh?
A choice forges strong bonds and a higher duty that stands
Ojo con estos, que tiene que estar bastante guay esta historia.
My family's in pieces. That's why I'm headed for Night City.
Yo como me lo voy a pasar 3 veces con cada historia de origen. Ojo, ¿eh? Con la frontera, el control ahí. Es que parece otro juego, ¿eh? Hostia, qué guapo.
Know what I always liked about nomads? Your taste, no, hunger for freedom. Not easy to come by in Night City.
Parece otro juego, tío.
Corp's got their grubby claws and everything.
Que quiten las bandas negras, tío. Es que no se ve bien. Un poco Mad Max, ¿eh? Sí. Y esto es ya 100% corporativo. Así es que tiene que estar muy guay las 3, ¿eh? Tiene que estar muy guay las 3, tío. Es tan diferente.
This isn't a request, V. But no way you're fucked, right? You're the one who fixes other people's shit.
If you work in Arasaka counter intel, you're always fucked.
Today, they got you to zero somebody. Tomorrow,
es que es tan diferente, depende de las 3 De los 3 orígenes, tío.
What's the rules, Jack? Wanna be top?
Arasaka.
Gotta have some skin in the game.
Yeah, but you're not
Arasaka es una de las empresas principales.
Bro, Arasaka is.
O la empresa principal.
You're the pendejo who keeps him there. Work for yourself, live for yourself. That's the only way.
No, si no enseñan nada, ya está. Pendejo. No seas pinche pendejo. Van a meter online más adelante, sí. Pero el año, o sea, 2021 o 2022, pero van a meter online.
So I think for today we'll
hombre,
start
no.
with a question that everybody wants to know.
No, está ya.
How does the path you pick affect your time in Night City?
Vale.
It actually affects your time quite a lot throughout the whole game, but let's start at the beginning because basically
Que cómo
our game
afecta
has three different
cada
starts
camino
depending on your life path.
a lo
As an
que
example,
vayas a
if
jugar,
you
vaya.
choose
Al
the
tiempo que pases en
Street
Night
Kid
City.
life path, you have lived most of your time in Night City. You know the streets, you know
Como
the
Street Kid,
gangs, you know
pues
the
te
slang,
conoces las
you kinda
bandas,
know what's
obviamente,
going
conoces,
on in the, let's say, lower life aspects of the city,
conoces los
which
barrios
will, of course,
bajos,
give you lots
digamos.
of good opportunities also later on in the game.
Y nos damos muy
But if
buenas
you start as
oportunidades
a nomad,
más adelante
you
en el juego.
actually used to be part of a nomad clan and a nomad family, because nomads that
Siendo un
roam
nómad
the
de
deserts
estos,
around Night City that we call the Badlands actually value their family above anything. But for one
son como
reason
muy
or another,
familiares y
you
tal, y
actually
bueno,
left
que están en el
that family
desierto,
behind.
básicamente.
And now
Están
the
fuera de
beginning
la
of the
ciudad.
game for you will actually be how to get into Night City and how to make a new life there.
Y que la cosa como Nomad es ver cómo entramos en la ciudad y cómo nos montamos una vida nueva allí, vaya.
And that basically means that you're not at home in the streets of Night City or in the deserts of the Badlands, but actually inside a boardroom, because you rose the corporate ladder of the Arasaka Corporation, which basically gives you the ability to sometimes, read between the lines, read people when they're trying to do business, which of course can give you many nice opportunities later on.
Vale, sí, claro, también nos da oportunidades, pero más con las empresas y tal.
Help people understand how this translates into the gameplay.
Yeah, so the thing is, we make Cyberpunk a real RPG, and part of that is that you can play
un RPG
your
real,
character
De
from the
verdad.
start to the end. And of course, we have these life paths affecting the beginning of the game.
Porque Deus Ex es Cyberpunk. La temática de Deus Ex es Cyberpunk también. Claro, todos tienen más o menos un poco la misma, ¿sabes? El mismo rollo, como Blade Runner y todo esto.
And this is a mission where you have to steal a flathead robot from the Maelstrom gang. Basically, those Maelstromers stole that flathead before from a corporate transport, and the owner of that corporate transport, Meredith Stout, wants you to do something else. And this is an optional objective. And even within that objective, we want to give you some options. So as an example, if you have a corporate life path, you basically know what Meredith Stout is really about. You can read between the lines, and you can get some additional options that maybe actually later enable you to do a completely different thing with the Maelstrom gang. And if you're a nomad, you know exactly some more details about how these Maelstromers would have even been able to.
Claro, en este caso nos están presentando una misión en la que hay un objetivo opcional y que, claro, dependiendo del camino, o sea, de que seamos, si un nómada, un street kid o un corpo, pues tendremos como más información y más información y más conocimiento sobre cómo va el tema, y nos será más fácil o más difícil solucionar ese objetivo opcional.
So Philip, I do have a couple of extra questions for you based on the video we just saw. And the first is about nomads. So the nomad life path, this starts in a place called the Badlands.
Empezamos aquí, empezamos en el desierto.
Even if you don't pick nomads
Como los
to start
nómadas.
with?
Yes, absolutely. So the thing is, Night City is surrounded by this huge landscape that we call the Badlands. And you can go there whenever you want. So as an example, if you actually play the nomad life path at the start and you are in the Badlands, you can even see Night City on the horizon. And we want to give you the option later in the game, if you want, you can just take your car and drive out of the city. You can go there whenever you want. The thing is, you might not want to, because the Badlands can be a pretty dangerous place at first.
Claro, que podemos ir en cualquier momento, pillar el coche, salir de la ciudad y para allá. Pero que claro, si no somos un nómada, corremos peligro. Si os fijáis, algunos llevan como máscaras de oxígeno Y es que acaban de comentar que la vida allí es bastante dura. Da igual, hay como mucha contaminación o cosas así. Por lo que tengo entendido, hicieron una limpieza. Bueno, ya lo explicaré. Ya lo explicaré.
So Philip, can you tell us a little bit more about the character?
Es un poco Las Vegas 2.0,
He's the
sí.
guy we see giving his business card to Street Kid V in the video. Who is this man?
Yeah, so Padre is actually one of the fixers in Night City. And fixers are people that work as intermediaries. So if someone
el hombre ese que le da la tarjeta es un fixer.
needs a problem solved, they go to a fixer. And a fixer then finds people who can solve that problem. And these people are people like
Es un fixer que realmente no fixea nada, sino que busca gente. Busca gente que fixee las cosas. Es un intermediario, básicamente, sí. Que es lo que ha dicho él.
So you already know him. You might have already seen another one of our fixers who is called Dexter
Este es uno.
Deshawn.
Este sí que ha salido un
He works in
montón
different
en los
departments.
gameplays.
So specifically Padre, you might know him as a street kid, but even if you played other life paths, you might sooner or later meet him because he's operating in Haywood, which is a pretty big place with many good jobs.
Vale, que siendo Street Kid lo conoces, digamos, casi desde siempre, pero que si pillas otro camino, pues lo puedes llegar a conocer. Puede ser que no, entiendo, porque está como en una zona muy grande e importante del juego.
Don't forget that later in this episode, we're going to be showing you another new gameplay video and having a chat to Pavel, our senior gameplay designer, about just some of the tools of destruction
Acabo de ver una
at your
katana.
disposal in Night City. But before that, let's talk about music. Because music
Venga,
plays
musiquita.
a huge part in bringing Night
El
City
Samurai,
to life.
que es el grupo
Now,
de
in
Keanu
future
Reeves.
episodes, we're going to talk about things like radio stations and even the original score.
Samurai es
But
el
today,
grupo
we're
de
gonna
música,
take
sí.
a look behind the
De Keanu
scenes
Reeves.
at how Refuse to bringing Johnny Silverhand's band Samurai to life.
I wouldn't write these lyrics for myself. So it's kind of interesting to get into like the mindset of who is this character and what would they write about. Or
O sea, el personaje de Keanu Reeves, Johnny Silverhand, tenía un grupo de música hace años, que era Samurai. Míralo, que era Samurai. Y esto representa que es él cantando, digamos.
There is a reason why we're here.
Estocolmo.
It was Piotr maybe who was a fan of the band.
He knew Refuse and he knew my voice.
Han pillado, de hecho, a una banda de verdad para hacer, digamos, de Samurai.
And that they wanted, I guess, a sound that was a bit contemporary from when Johnny's supposed to have had the band, because he's sort of like an anti-establishment kind of guy.
Gonna drag a corporal rat on stage, make him kneel, douse him with gas, then light him up?
So of course there are things that you can relate to, and like just like this outcast and this rebel that's fighting against like the corporals, and that's definitely something that's been a part of my life and a part of Refuse's life.
We came out of the punk rock scene of northern Sweden.
He's like the future version of us, you know? So I think it makes sense. I think it totally makes sense for us to be here making these songs about him or for him, you know? So it's pretty cool.
Dicen que Samurai es como la versión futura de su banda, ¿sabes? Que tiene todo el sentido que lo habían hecho ellos.
And then, I mean, just sort of build, I mean, slowly build sort of intensity.
We don't have a different mode than just going all
Total.
in. So we really worked on these songs, trying to make them as good as possible. But then they're not actually our songs.
It's interesting as a musician to play another musician, because that's essentially what we're doing. I mean, we're not.
Claro, que no son ellos, están haciendo de otros.
Johnny Silverhand, you know, so it's like the voice we're representing here is someone else.
We'll never fade away!
It's been a mind fuck.
Dice que es un mindfuck.
I mean, the shouting in itself is just like second nature to me because I've been doing this for a very long time. But then when someone comes in and says,
I'm happy with everything except for Asa Lim. Again, it's Asa. Asa. Okay.
The shouting's great, but think of that accent or think of that like enunciation. It's a bit weird because it's a very different way of singing when you're screaming like that, and it's hard to sort of
Swallowing some syllables there.
adjust your accent.
Oh yeah, just try it again.
So it's been a bit kind of frustrating.
It wasn't horrible, but it wasn't great.
But I mean, I get it. I mean, we have to maintain the illusion that this character that's a character of the game also is me. Like,
Esto saldrá en el juego, entiendo yo, ¿no?
Yeah,
Pero esto debe ser in-game. Las escenas estas de Johnny Silverhand.
Telling you exactly how to enunciate things, because I'm not used to. Usually people just like give me a thumbs up, and then like you think the things like the rhythm, and you think about the pitch, and you think about all these things. But then someone comes in and like that word sounded weird. I'm like, what? No, that's how I sing. But so it's been a very a bit painful at times, but it's all right.
City soon, I'm chipping in. Roll the bones, I'm chipping in. Belt that cone, I'm chipping in. Mayhem flows.
Joder.
It's a very interesting thing to be part of. As a person that's not a gamer, I don't think I fully understand the impact that this might have. If people like these songs and if people are excited, then that's going to be great. I mean, we are spending a lot of times trying to get this right, trying to get it to sound like, like samurai would sound, So it's quite interesting. It's a very different way of.
Se están pegando un currazo, poca broma. No sé cuántas canciones habrá de samurai, pero se están pegando un currazo, tío. Porque tiene que cambiar el acento y todo, el tío.
You can already find 3 samurai tracks available on streaming services.
3? No, 4, no?
Never Fade Away and The Ballad of Buck Ravers. But we're excited to announce a 4th new song
vale, ves.
Like Supreme, which is coming to streaming services today. That means you can check it out once the show is over. Don't forget that if you're tuning in late or if you just want to watch anything again, we will be uploading everything to our channel soon. Next up, Pavel and I are going to introduce you to some creative ways that you can solve problems in Night City.
Situaciones creativas para resolver problemas. Supongo que serán armas locas o algo así, ¿no? Supongo. Joder, es que se ve muy bien, ¿eh? No me jodas, tío.
Hey V, I have a job for you. A client of mine is making an
Katana escopeta, en plan Borderlands, tío.
Protection. It could get hot, very hot. The gun dealers on Maelstrom. Alas, nothing ever transpires as planned.
¿Por qué no han vuelto a poner una V femenina, tío? Solo ponen el tío ahora. Joder, mira cómo se ve, la iluminación. Armas tecnológicas. Tsunami Nekomata. Let's go. Vámonos. Boom. Boom. Power Weapons. Carnage se llama. Boom. Ojo, Smart Weapons, Smart Weapons. Ojo, la P90. ¿Qué es eso? Ah, es verdad, estos son balas que van hacia... Sí, estas son la hostia. Son balas dirigidas. Son balas dirigidas, sí señor. Melee Weapons, dale. Katana termal, toma ya. Oye, ¿la máscara que llevaba el malo o qué? ¿La máscara esa qué? Mola, va. Estos también están guays. Estos a melee también. Claro, esto es una modificación de las armas. Ah, es verdad. También... Esto ya se había visto, creo, lo de lanzar cohetes desde el antebrazo. Hey, ¿qué tal, Morphy?
Yeah, I'm in.
Amén. Let's go. Ha habido armas muy guapas, ¿eh?
Pavel, thank you so much for joining me. Now, there was an awful lot in that video, right? Because it's more than just guns.
Mola un montón, ¿eh?
Absolutely. We have melee weapons, we have ranged weapons, we have cyberware, we have offensive cyberware, defensive cyberware, armor.
Pues ahora, Morphy, si cuando termines y queréis jugar al LoL, por mí podemos hacer alguna partidilla. Seguro que Laura quiere. Borderlands, o sea, BO3 me refería a Borderlands 3. Me imaginaba. Claro, podría ser Black Ops también, pero bueno. ¿Qué han enseñado? Un poco de gameplay con los tres caminos, un poco de música y ahora el tema de las armas así guapotas.
Now, tech weapons, on the other hand, use electromagnetic power to propel a fully metal projectile to extreme velocity.
¿Me habéis tocado pegado en el suelo, tío?
What them to do is to punch through cover, or punch through walls,
a tomar
to
por
hit
culo,
somebody
tío.
who's not even aware that you're there. Smart weapons use
Estas son las que molan, tío. Con las balas guiadas.
So you can hit somebody who's dodging,
Mira,
running away
boom,
from you,
boom, boom, boom.
or you can
Increíble.
hit somebody who's hiding behind cover.
Increíble.
So Pavel, Cyberpunk doesn't just contain FPS elements, right? It's also a fully fledged RPG. So can you tell us how
puedes ir a melee también.
introducing those RPG elements
Sí.
into gunplay?
Es que es la hostia.
So I can tell you one thing, Holly. It wasn't easy to merge those two elements together. Now, we've spent a considerable amount of time merging the RPG and FPP side of our game. What the player will experience.
Mira esa animación, por favor. Mira esa animación.
To a legend in the world of Night City. V becomes more and more proficient in using weapons as the game progresses. So they will see that reload times become shorter, the accuracy of your weapons grows, you will have faster aiming time, you will move faster with your weapons.
Yo pensaba que el COD tenía animaciones guapas con las armas, pero ¿esto qué es? Buah, me voy a hacer muchísimo daño con este juego, ¿eh? Me voy a hacer muchísimo daño, tío. O sea, si con el The Last of Us me vicié, no sé qué va a pasar con este, ¿eh? Es verdad, ¿cómo encuentras armas? Eso es verdad. Vale, las puedes comprar, obviamente. Eso es lógico. Las mejores armas. Vale, las mejores armas las pillarás de enemigos o de cajas. Cajas de lucha. Y hay rarezas de armas.
However, legendary weapons are very specific in such a way that they possess unique abilities that you will find on no other weapons in the game.
O sea, las armas legendarias, cada arma tiene una habilidad o unas habilidades propias que no estarán en ninguna otra arma. Brutal.
So next question, let's talk about
brutal.
modifications. What mods can people give to their
modificaciones en las armas. Bien.
Two types of modifications in the game. One of them would be modifications that we call attachments. So these would be scopes and silencers.
Están los attachments, que es bueno, lo típico, los silenciadores y las miras. Esto es típico. Nada raro. Nos subirán los stats de las armas, obviamente. Modificaciones de software. Chips que se instalan en el arma.
They can give you damage, they can give you accuracy,
y te dan, pues,
or
eso.
they can give you more fire rate. Some of those mods actually change
daño.
The gunplay on a more fundamental level, so they can give you non-lethal rounds, biochemical rounds, to tear through that armor even faster.
Madre mía.
So I suppose for my final question, why don't you tell us about your favorite weapon then? Which is your favorite weapon so far in Night City?
Oh, there are so many weapons that it's hard to choose just one. But I can mention some manufacturers with their weapons that I absolutely adore. The first manufacturer would be Tsunami Defense Systems, who produces the sniper rifle Nekomata. That's a tech sniper rifle. That means that it can pierce through walls. So it can actually hit somebody who's hiding behind cover or who doesn't even know you're there. Of course, I also like a close quarters approach.
Lo pone en el panel de descripción del PC, porque ahora no me lo sé, leo. Es una Aorus, pero lo pone exactamente cuál es en el panel del PC, de información del PC.
However, you can cut a person clean in half with it.
Buah, chaval.
Another shotgun that I absolutely love.
Las escopetas es que me flipan,
approach, I would say, is a smart shotgun, Kangtao Zhuo. That thing has 8 barrels.
Mira esto.
That means it can track 8 targets independently.
Que puede traquear.
Killing an entire room was never simpler.
Puede traquear un arma que puede traquear 8 tíos diferentes y disparar a los 8 a la vez y limpiar la habitación en un segundo. ¿Qué cojones?
Before we end episode 2, this is a reminder that those who wish to dive deeper into
Esto me tiene que llegar,
can now pick up The World of Cyberpunk
Esto me tiene que llegar.
2077.
Este libro.
This is a brand new book
Esto me tiene que llegar.
in collaboration with Dark Horse Books that will give you an extensive look at what makes Night City tick before jumping
De hecho, me tenía que llegar ya, ahora que lo pienso.
That is it for today's episode.
Pues muy bien, ¿no?
Thank you so much for joining us.
Let's go.
Don't forget that if you've missed anything or if you just want to watch again, we will be uploading everything to our channels shortly.
Me ha gustado,
Thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll be back with Night City Wire episode 3
Todo perfecto.
soon.
Episodio 3, ¿eh? Episodio 3 dentro de poco. Let's go, tío. Qué ganas. Qué ganas. Solo hace que mejorar, efectivamente. Y esta figura, si trabajara, me la pillaría, tío. Si estuviera trabajando, me la pillaría. Solo hace que mejorar, tío. Es que es increíble. Este juego es que no puede salir mal, este juego. Es que es increíble. No me quiero hypear, ¿eh? No me gusta. Pero es que es increíble. No sé. Es increíble. Me flipa. Me flipa. En fin, paro la grabación